Hi there. My name is Stephen Elliott, and I am honoured to meet Eileen's family. Even though it's via a video, it to me is still a nice way to get to know me, and I can't think of anything better apart from video calls, which I'm still happy to do. I feel that that would be a nice thing to do to have some questions directed at me. So I'm happy to answer any questions that are given to me. I'm happy to answer. You can ask anything you want. I always say to Eileen that you can ask me anything you wish because I will give an honest answer. Because one thing about me is I do not lie. I find it hard to lie because I get so stressed out when I tell a lie. And some people may not believe me, but my parents can vouch for that because they say I'm a terrible liar. So that's a very good thing to know. I mean, maybe it sounds a bit weird me mentioning about telling the truth and lying, but it's it's important because I am now a part of Eileen's life, and that may sound boastful, but I feel at this point I could say that I am honored to be a part of Eileen's life, and hopefully you all feel the same. I would be so pleased and beyond happy to know that. So just a bit of an introduction to myself. Well, as you know, I said, my name's Stephen Elliott. I'm 32 and I am from Northern Ireland. And more specifically, I am from a town called Omagh. And I am currently living in a town called Portadown. And yeah, it's a small country. It's not a big country at all. A lot of people have heard of Ireland, but a lot less of people have heard of Northern Ireland because it's very tiny. It doesn't stretch 75 miles from coast to coast. It's not big. It's not big at all. But there's a lot of history there. But enough about my country. You want to get to know me. So I'm an only child. I have no brothers or sisters. I have a lot of cousins, which I'll explain in a minute. So my family, I get along very well with. My mother and father, I get along spectacularly, and I see them every week, and I text them nearly every day. Like in a sense, it's a day doesn't go past where I'm not messaging my mother or father, and I have a very close bond with them. In fact, they're actually coming up today to visit me, which I'm so happy and so excited for. I may have had no brothers or sisters growing up, but I had my fair share of cousins. My mother has four others in her family, brothers and sisters, and my dad has 12 in his family, well, including him, but yeah, he has a lot of brothers and sisters. So, yeah, their children, that's why I have a lot of cousins. And yeah, I grew up knowing quite a lot of cousins, and they were like brothers and sisters to me. And that's the closest thing I have, which I will touch upon when talking about the future and experience I've gained. But more about me, in a sense. I have lived on my own since I was 18. I uh, I lived with my mother throughout my life, and when I was 18, I thought it was time for my own place, and I decided to get my own apartment, and that was a big step for me because I was quite spoiled growing up, which I know now is not the right way of being raised, but I still appreciate my mother and father's effort, and their love for me is it knows no bounds. But yeah, I moved into my own apartment, and 14 years later, I'm still, like living on my own. I've never lived with anyone since. So I'm quite happy being independent in that way. I feel that's given me a way to grow up, to make my own way in life, and to stand up on my own 2 feet and take life as it is and start succeeding in some things. So, in terms of relationship, I have never been married, and I have been single for a good amount of years. And I am a person who, from the age of 13, knew he wanted something serious. He wanted something absolutely serious, marriage, kids, the whole lot. Even though back at 13, it is just a fantasy and something hopeful, but it is carried on until this day, 20 years later almost, and I still feel the same. In fact, stronger about it because once you're the age to have a family and get married, then you're going to get more enthusiastic about it. And I definitely am. So I've always looked for that in a relationship. I would never go into a relationship thinking that there's an expiration date, that there is an ending. I've told Eileen many, many times because, in case you didn't know, in case Eileen hasn't said, I absolutely love Eileen, and I have never experienced love like it. It has completely captured my heart. My heart is Eileen's, and it always will be. And I am just so honoured to be with Eileen. It's just amazing. And to have that and to think that there could be an expiration to never. I never think like that at all. I know my love will last forever. And one thing to note is that I'm autistic. I'm a high functioning autistic person, which is something that is not inherited, but it's just random. And it can be very serious in people. But for me, the only things are social interactions can be quite difficult. And for the last 25 years, I've been trying my best to conquer that difficulty because I really had big difficulty in the past. It was very, very stressful, and without complaining, because there's no point in complaining, but it was a big task for me, and I conquered it mostly. I still have a bit of anxiety and things in terms of big crowds and stuff, but in terms of meeting people, like for example, meeting the family, I would be fine. I would be nervous, but in a way that anybody would be nervous meeting the in-laws. I think that's pretty normal. But speaking of my autism, I'm actually not hindered by it mostly. I'm actually I'm benefiting from it. And what I mean is that it people with autism change, or sorry, not change, excuse me. People with autism have a different way of thinking than the average person. Not all of them, because people could be extremely seriously damaged by autism, where I'm high functioning, meaning that I still have autism, but I can live my normal day to day life and live a happy life. And the way it's benefited me is that I'm quite smart, which, not to be boastful, but that's one thing good about me. I'm smart. I'm particularly smart with technology. That's where I really excel. And with autism, when you get interested in something, you get really interested in that something. You get not obsessed, but let's just say a few steps near obsessive. And I feel like that about technology as an all encompassing computers, video games, creating things. And I'm pursuing, various things in technology that I hope can lead to a good amount of money in my future. But it's going to take a while, and it's an ambitious task. I would love to tell you more, but it is kind of just foundational level of my business plans. But I'm super excited to reveal to people. I haven't even told my mother or anything. It's just between me and my dad. I haven't told my mother, because she would be a bit against it, but only because it's a financial investment. But sorry to bore you about financial stuff, benefits, stuff like that there. But it, but it's me thinking about the future. That's what that is about. So that's that in terms of finances. So for me to have a lifelong relationship from being my girlfriend to Eileen being my wife, or sorry, Eileen being my girlfriend, fiance, and then wife, is something that I obviously want. And to sustain that life, I must have finances. And that's what I always do. I always look towards the future, sometimes too much, whereas I don't kind of appreciate the present. But I've dealt with that, and I'm more in the present now. But I still plan very much for the future and think about the future and what could happen in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, and 20 years' time. And all of those include Eileen. We've talked since September 27th. If I got the date wrong, please, I apologize, Eileen, but I think I'm right. It's the late 20s anyway, so it's 26th or 27th, but I would say it's the 27th. I'm pretty sure it is, but never mind that. I've been speaking. We've been speaking since that date, and that's quite a bit of days now. Sometimes it takes years for people to fall in love, and for me, it didn't take long to fall in love with Eileen, because she is my kind of match, my complete match. I found her absolutely gorgeous and cute. And she is, like in my eyes, she's absolutely amazing looking. But more importantly, to me, it's her heart. Her heart is so overwhelmingly pure and nice. and just an endless flow of love coming from her heart is just amazing. She has shown me on hundreds of occasions now when we talk in video calls or we message just how much she can love somebody and she can appreciate somebody. And it is just blowing me away. And that's why I fell in love with her so quickly. Sure, there is that kind of issue with living across the world, which is the biggest kind of talking point. And I understand that that is quite an issue. But there's a lot of time to think about that before anything concrete can happen. But there has been progress in terms of the actual fundamentals about what could happen in the future. And what I've thought about and I really thought about is I'm actually happy to move from this country to the Philippines. And I didn't take that decision lightly. However, certain aspects of this country, which if I got into would be quite a long conversation, is to do with the culture here. It's getting very toxic, and it's it's something so awful that moving from here would to a country that has a lot of people that are pure of heart and they're neighborly and I'm just assuming these things, I suppose, but from what Eileen has told me about her family and about others, they're laid back. Filipinos are laid back, and they're welcoming, and I'm sure not everyone in the country is like that, but you get that everywhere. But sorry for being a realist. I did say I'm overly truthful at times, but no offense intended. There's a lot of bad people over here, for example, and I am more than happy to move. The only issue would have been my family. My mother would be, she would understand completely and she would respect my decision, but she would be brokenhearted. And that's something I would have to kind of negotiate. I don't want to make my mother upset. However, she will understand because she doesn't want to feel that her being upset keeps me from moving. And it won't, my mother will be upset, but I will still message her every day and video call her every day and make a vast amount of effort to contact her. And same with my father. My father would take it easier, but he would still miss me. And I would miss them. I would miss them greatly. Speaking of moving from one place to another, I've never lived outside of this country. I've had over 5 holidays that go outside this country. This is a tiny island, and I've gone on plane journeys to England, and I've been all the way west to Canada, and so I'm not completely inexperienced when it comes to a long travel. I expect a travel to the Philippines would be much longer, but that doesn't deter me. The distance is an issue when it comes to living and moving, but it can still be 100% done. And with things being digital more and easier to, to start your life somewhere else because a lot of things are online connected, then there's a lot of things that will be easier than it was 50 years ago. And that makes me more relieved. To be honest, I will be a bit taken aback because I'm quite an inside person, to be quite honest. It goes back to being autistic and not sociable, but I don't stay inside all the time. I go out very regularly for walks and stuff. But what I mean is that going to a different country, other side of the world on my own, to a culture that I've never experienced. I've only seen on TV, of course. Everyone sees different cultures on TV, but it's not the same when you're actually there. And I believe when I'm actually there, I'm going to be taken aback greatly. And I've I've seen pictures that Eileen has uploaded, and it warms my heart. The sunsets and the scenery and the scenic views absolutely capture my heart, and I would be so happy. My heart would be just in so much love that it would near burst, because if I was sitting with Eileen with the sunset, looking at beautiful mountains in the distance, life can't get any better than that. Like, yeah, I'm being serious. Life can't get any better than that. And I love telling Eileen this a lot. It makes her happy, but it makes me happy. And I just love her so much. So I've got quite a bit of money from work in the past, and that money over here is not an extremely huge amount, but in Philippine pesos, it would be worth a lot more. And from the talks me and Eileen have had, we've came to the conclusion that it would be possible for us, or me more specifically, because, I've got quite a bit of money. Not as I said, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm a little well off, but nowhere near a millionaire. I wish, but something financially good to go towards a house in the Philippines, somewhere good. Eileen can show me where the good places are, where somewhere very nice would be, and somewhere with some land as well. Eileen can direct me in that. She's my tour guide. Whenever I move over there, she will show me everything, just like I would show her everything about Northern Ireland, but there's not much to see. But land for a business, a farm, or some other type of business, and land is extremely profitable because, well, they're not going to make any more land. God isn't going to make more land, so it is very much a good investment, especially for the house. But the house won't be just for me and Eileen. It is going to be for, in the future, our children. And maybe some people might be shocked that me and Eileen have talked about children this early, and have never met in person yet. But me and Eileen have way over 100 hours, way more, talking. We could talk for 12 hours straight and messaging, and talk on video calls for 4 hours. We've done that before. There's proof. You can just get Eileen to look up the call lengths on WhatsApp. There's proof. And there's going to be hundreds of hours more. But one thing I've always known about myself, just like the knowing before about romance, when I was about 13, knowing that I wanted to settle with somebody rather than, I don't know, be some other type of person in a relationship. Another thing I felt pretty early on in my teens was that I definitely want kids in my future. And that has developed into knowing that I want 3 kids. At the absolute minimum, 2 kids. And the absolute maximum would be 4. And the reason 2 would be the least. One is amazing enough, don't get me wrong, but and if that's just the limit, then that's okay. But the reason I want 2 children is to have my children, like my child, to have a brother or sister to play with, to joke about with, and to grow up together. Something I missed out on, and something that I wouldn't want them to be like I was, pretty lonely. But speaking of my upbringing and such, my parents aren't together anymore, and the reason that is kind of relevant, it's being honest about my past. But my father had a mental breakdown at the time, and there's been a lot of tough years since then. Uh, Actually, not very tough years, like tough years. There hasn't been many years of it, but let's just say about 3 or 4 years afterwards, very tough, and especially for my relationship towards my father. But over time and over the 21 years since they split up, I have, for 22 now, things have been repaired and they're better than ever. But what I'm going to use, what I'm going to do is use that situation that I was in as a warning for the way I'm going to parent in the future. And basically, to say, this is not what to do when you're parenting. If there was a book, that would be it. This is what you don't do when you're parenting. And because, the way my father acted and stuff like that there, it was not the right way to be in a relationship and to parent. But so I'm going to use those bad experiences to become an excellent father. And doesn't matter what kind of career prospects I have in the future, being a father is 100% going to be my life ambition, my best job, my favorite thing to do. I would just absolutely love that fact that I would be a father. It would just be heartwarming. Just a few things to kind of be of note before I go. So there's still stuff to know about me. So, for example, I'm very religious. I wasn't as religious, I'll be quite honest, back 10 years ago. But that's when it started becoming more part of my life, and God is definitely a part of my life, and I'm super honored that Eileen sees that and she respects it, of course, and she feels the same way. As I said, we're a perfect match. Sorry I haven't asked many questions of you. I guess tell me everything about. I want to know everything about your family. I'm super interested. I've only talked to Eileen's sister on a group chat, and it hasn't been much, but I'm honored to talk in the future, definitely. As I said, I am shy and stuff, but I've told Eileen that it just takes me time to be more comfortable talking to somebody, and then eventually I could talk all day, just like I'm talking on this video now. Another thing, aside from religion, I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol, and of course I don't do drugs or anything. So, and also I try to eat healthy. and I try to make my life healthier. Where Eileen would disagree. I do eat quite a bit of rubbish, but it it's more motivation to know that my life is important to Eileen, and my life will be important to my children as well. So my ambition is to get healthier and to prolong my life, so that not that there's anything desperately wrong or anything, but it's more like I want to live a good, happy, long life, so my children can be around me a lot longer, and I can obviously have their love and love them for many, many decades to come. That's about it. I apologize if there's something I might have forgot, or something obvious that I could have told about myself, but I'm happy to make further videos. I love making videos for Eileen, and she says that she would watch them loads, so hopefully this is another one that Eileen would watch a lot. Just Eileen is super cute and adorable, so adorable. I really can't wait to meet her. And oh well, one thing just came to mind. Obviously, no matter what I say, your family will still be nervous about Eileen getting together with somebody that we don't know. So like, I'm in the same situation as if Eileen was to meet somebody else from this country, for example. So hopefully this has alleviated some of those fears. And Eileen can vouch for what I told her about my personality and things. But I am super excited to prove myself. Instead of talking, I love proving, so that any fears and worries can be, like they can drift away, and we can all get to, get along together brilliantly. So that's why, for example, when Eileen made that amazing video of the birthday cake for my mother, I thought it was good opportunity to kind of have my mother, branch out to Eileen and to talk to her, and she did, and Eileen loved it, of course. So communication between families is now beginning, and I'm super excited about many more. For example, my family talking to your family, all of yous, for example. I'm definitely up for that. I just I hope you're all well, and I really hope I haven't forgotten anything. I usually do, but like I said, I completely understand about being worried. I would feel the exact same. I don't know what it's like to be a parent yet, but I can definitely imagine being scared about my children because of them getting in a relationship or any other various kind of things. So I definitely understand that, but hopefully this has helped a bit, and I look forward to, as I said, proving myself to you all, and that for me would I would be honored to meet you, and I'm honored that you watched all of this. I'm super happy. Thank you very much for watching all of this. I'm a bit shy that someone would watch a 35-minute video of me, but here we go. So I'm meeting my parents in about an hour, so I think I should get ready. But like I said, I am happy to communicate by video instantly, and happy to video call someday. So I I look forward to that, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't boring. Eileen doesn't find it boring, so that for me is a big plus. But I love you, Eileen, just when you're watching. So obviously she knows once more. But yeah, thank you for very much for watching this video, and I am super happy to talk to you and for you to watch this video. I will talk to you soon. So bye for now.